Hello, Pisces. How's it going? Welcome to a Love Tarot reading where we're going to look at what energies you are dealing with up until Valentine's Day. Like looking at this week here. Holy schnickerdoodles. This is going to be for those of you who are in and out of a relationship. You guys got a heavy energy here. Woo! So I'm going to break it down for as many of you as I can. Like, again, those of you who are single, those of you in a partnership, those of you in a situationship, we're going to kind of tackle each of them as we go. And let me get one more card here. Ooh, interesting. All right, I'm going to start off with the Ten of Cups because this is going to be the most valuable card in this entire reading. It is in the reversal position. The Ten of Cups traditionally depicts a very joyous card. I mean, look at it. It looks like rainbows and sunshine coming out of somebody's butt. Not literally, but you get the gist of it. As the 90s expression goes, it's a whole lot of wish fulfillment. It's dancing, it's unity, it's greener pastures, it's growth. You know what I mean? It's a wish fulfillment dynamic in the upright position. You did not get it in the upright position. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not up for things like wish fulfillment, but I will say that in the reversal, there's a specific meaning for this card that dates back over 100 years ago that is called the repose of the false heart. It is the energy of wishful thinking. So that's why I say with this dynamic, this is very important to understand because a lot of us get caught up in this energy. As I shuffle this out in front of you, I know I am personally the kind of person who can get stuck in overthinking and limerence and building up an idea about a particular person or a particular situation. And that card is exactly that. Again, the statement that Arthur Edward Waite gives for that card is the repose of the false heart. It's a need to take a rest from seeing life through a illusionary lens when it comes to love. So for those of you who are in a relationship, what that could look like is projecting a version onto the dynamic of your relationship that doesn't exist. It is quite frankly an idea of like, are you being honest with yourself? And there's a need to tackle that. For those of you who are separated from someone, it's that same dynamic. It asks the question, what are you projecting onto the relationship that might be coming from the falseness of the wishful thinking that you might have in a situation, and what of it is grounded in actual reality that is tangibly there. For those of you who are not in a relationship, but maybe you don't even have any particular person that you have your eyes set on. You know, for those of you who are single and you're just thinking about getting into the dating world, this could be the kind of concept where the world of dating in and of itself, you have a built-up image about how it should operate. It's almost like a closed, limited perspective. Like some people think you can't meet anybody on dating sites. Other people think, like they give themselves rule systems, right? Belief systems where they say that you can't do long distance dating. Those will never work, right? These are false images that we build up. And each person is different, and each person gives themselves their own projections of what dating could be like. But since this card is coming here in this reading for the energy that you will be dealing with up to Valentine's Day, then it again reminds you to understand the picture you're painting about what your dating life or your love life could look like, and asking yourself if you're even accurate with that. And analyzing a bit, giving it that contemplation. That includes for those of you who don't even think that you have the capability of having a love life. If you are selling yourself that false energy, it may stand to reason that you are giving yourself an incorrect understanding of a situation, because I would bet more often than not that there is a possibility for love, but I know that a lot of people will convince themselves they're just going to be single for their whole lives. For those of you who want to be single, more power to you. You know, I'm just saying, I'm just tackling different areas, those people in relationships, out of relationships, and new to the relationship avenues. Now, the next card that I think is important to tackle here is the Wheel of Fortune in the reversal. This is a major arcana card. In modern tarot, like the last 20 years, a lot of people like YouTube tarot readers, TikTok tarot readers, and no hate to them. Clearly, I am one of them, but I'm just saying we got to be realistic about what's modern and what's historical with tarot. And from a modern perspective, it's often understood that the Wheel of Fortune in the upright position is positive fate coming on your side, giving you a great outcome, the wheel of fortune spins in your favor would be the expression. People would then think in a modern sense that if it's in the reversal, that in the reversal position, that must mean the tides are turning out of your favor. Historically, the Wheel of Fortune didn't get connected to bad if it's in the reversal, good if it's in the upright, because a major arcana card doesn't have, in the Rider-Waite-Smith sense, a reversal energy. Arthur Edward Waite reserves upright and reversal dynamics for minor arcana cards. Major arcana cards, the ones that have their own separate names like this, the trump cards, they have one huge truth. That's why they are called the major arcana. They give a truth, whereas these minor ones give a lot of little truths. That's why they can have reversals like that. But the Wheel of Fortune just has one straight truth to it. It is the meaning of ruling authority by the divine providence, essentially. That's the meaning of that Wheel of Fortune card. It's the wheel of the heavens. That's why it's a depiction of a wheel inside of the celestial heavens and all of the clouds, right? So it gives this idea of change. It is the constant of change, whether it is in the upright or the reversal. It talks about a ruling authority that is guiding the motion that is happening in your life. It is a destined path. That's the idea of divine providence. Not saying it's for better or for worse, but that it's not up to you, ultimately. A lot of people say that tarot is a system that talks about its ability to change. Like people say, oh, if you do a tarot reading, isn't the outcome of the tarot cards going to change? And you are more than welcome to believe that. I don't believe that because it's been 20 years and I haven't found that that's the case. So after 20 years of occultists like Eliphas Levi and Aleister Crowley and Arthur Edward Waite studying this, they found the same, that something was going to happen as something was going to happen. I think you could even say that all the way back to the days of Alexander the Great and the oracles of Delphi, right? Or the Egyptian oracles, or Leonidas and the Spartans. They went to these oracles because the oracle said, here is the outcome. It's not going to change. You must deal with it. Your divine providence and divine, it's like the fate police, as a client of mine had said the other day, is giving some kind of a circumstance that you must go through. So again, sometimes this card in a modern sense talks about chance and luck, but in a historical sense, it was about path and divine providence. And if you don't know what divine providence is, it is the universe as a divine energy guiding you to a certain path, and that path is one you are going to go on. It is the idea of destiny, predetermination, predestination. Okay, so talking about what seemingly is predetermined for you to experience, the King of Pentacles is here. This is the card of intellectualizing things. I think he's the least enthusiastic of all of the kings. This is the king who, I mean, he looks calm and he looks pleasant in the way that he holds his face, but Arthur Edward Waite describes him as using his sense of intelligence very strategically, especially in dynamics of lifestyle, house, business, and law, but especially business. He's very preoccupied with the intellectual kind of business operations that you might find on Wall Street and economy. In his reversal position, he basically just means bad intelligence. Like it's an energy of somebody being stupid. You didn't get it in that position. Since it's in the upright position, it kind of goes hand in hand with the 10 of Cups there. Remember, the 10 of Cups in the reversal is the false heart being replaced with true intelligence. And if you wrap this up with your destiny, it's almost like got that Neptune and Aries kind of concept. Illusions being shifted, Neptune coming conjunct with Aries, illusions being broken. Pardon me, Neptune being conjunct with Saturn, illusions being broken. And intelligence of what's actually realistically capable in your love life becoming dominant. It's giving you've become aware of how not to fool yourself in the realms of love. Okay, well, now we also have the Knight of Cups. This is interesting because this is the messenger card, right? So I do anticipate that you might hear from somebody with this kind of a dynamic. But is it that you're going to hear from somebody or you're going to communicate with somebody? I'm going to kind of ask that question in just a moment here. I feel like it could be connected to this energy above. 7 of Swords, if you know anything about tarot, that's the gentleman who took the hell off. So somebody who took off and left some unfinished business does have the capability of dealing with you. It is sitting next to the predetermination destiny kind of aspect with the Wheel of Fortune too. So it feels like it's only a matter of clock, right? Only a matter of time before this person who took off comes to communicate. Seemingly to offer a cup of compassion, but you see his cup is empty. And so he wants, ultimately, the Knight of Cups wants somebody else to fill his cup for them. So just watch out for that. What that could look like is for those of you who are in a relationship already, when all of this contemplation of intelligence and realism has occurred, somebody might be like, you know what, in this relationship, I'm feeling kind of void. I'm feeling like my cup is kind of empty. Can we work on filling it up together? For those of you who are separated from someone, again, if that person walked away, especially with the card of ghosting here, if they walked away in the past, they might come back to have you fill their cup. That is up to you if you want to be the person filling somebody else's cup. They should kind of fill it for their own selves, but in partnership, 2 people can do that dance together if they so consent to doing so in an appropriate way. And again, for those of you who are single and don't have your eye on anybody, Mercury retrograde is upon us. There is a good chance that somebody whom once perhaps maybe they didn't view you in the right order. Maybe they had a false heart. That's another thing. Like, I know this could be your energy, but this could also be a person that you're dealing with who had a false image. They walked away from the dynamic. Suddenly they come back and they're like, you know what? I'd like you to fill my cup. And again, I leave that up to you if you want to handle somebody who needs you to fill their cup up. It's just interesting because the Knight of Cups is 100% the card of somebody approaching. That is the nature of this card. That is how Arthur Edward Waite described it. But he also called this guy the dreamer. And we know that, again, with that Neptunian energy that's floating around lately, a dreamer and a dream can be a very pleasant thing if it's executed appropriately, but it can also be filled with illusions. So this person would just have to watch out for that, because this is the card that's known of the energy of the higher graces. So it is dreaming, but it is also tied into intuition, and they have to navigate that. You've got it directly next to the card of intelligence. So there's almost like this dynamic might not even just be for one of you. We've got a bit of mirroring energy, 2 people energy, 2 court cards coming up, where it is that time for many people, could be yourself and this person included, who are needing to effectively, keyword effectively, navigate when to use intelligence, the higher forces of intelligence, and when to use the higher forces of intuition. Because it's not a one or the other. It's a blended circumstance. You navigate them appropriately. If I was in a little canoe on the water and the water was calm, I'm not going to have to use the same maneuvers as if the water is stormy. I can have both skill sets of intelligence and intuition, but they need to be used at the appropriate time. And so this is what it's about. It's about making sure that it's not just left into a dreamy state, and it's not just overdone in intelligence, but the right time, the right skill at the right time in love. And that will bring you into the upright 10 of Cups card instead of any kind of false dynamics, rosy colored glasses, or illusions that they or you may have been giving yourselves in those realms of love. So it is a contemplatory, I just said that wrong, contemplation-based, we'll say that. It is a contemplation-based time frame for you leading up to Valentine's Day, with the added bonus that it's very likely that someone approacheth. They are coming to have a conversation. I will leave you off with that. Thank you very much. And if you guys are interested, your Pisces readings are going up on TikTok. Some of your alternative Pisces readings are already up on YouTube. Or if you ever want a private reading, I do have a Valentine's Day sale going on right now. Any 3 questions for $20 are there for you. Many blessings to you, and ciao for now.